The vagina is a reflection of of course it's an internal organ because but also it's a reflection of just your overall health as well. So if you are having recurrent infections, that often can signal that something is not quite right with your overall health, either like what you're eating, or your hormonal imbalance. It can also signal that there is some sort of underlying condition that might be also kind of throwing off the balance or might be contributing to your overall health. So it's always good to, if it keeps happening, every person has like yeast infections and BV occasionally, and there's all these different triggers for it as well, right? Like for some people it's their period, for some people, it's, going swimming or taking a bath, or it's the tampons themselves or the pads they're using. Sometimes it's the washes or the oils, any products that they're using down
Yeah.
below. Um, any change of environment. It could just be the summertime and people are like, oh, I'm so sweaty down there and I have more yeast infections. Yes, yeast likes hot, moist, dark environments, and the vagina is very ideal for that. So, so yeah, that's just kind of something to keep in mind to figure out like, well, one, what is my trigger? And can I figure out what my trigger is and try to avoid that trigger or try to preempt that trigger? Um, Preempting a trigger, once you figure it out, is pretty simple. You can use medications prescribed by your doctor for like yeast, like pills. You can use over-the-counter creams for yeast if you know that you're going to be exposed to a trigger. Well, I forgot to mention sex is a common trigger. And or sometimes people will use boric acid as well as another one, or even probiotic, insertable probiotic capsules that you can put in the vagina as well. So there's lots of different ways you can kind of preempt these infections. Um, However, if it keeps coming back, you've identified a trigger, it's something, and it seems to be worsening, you just may want to have your doctor look into that to see if there's an underlying condition. Some of the more common conditions we see are associated with high blood sugar because yeast feed off sugar. So that could be issues of
Okay.
diabetes. We see a lot of common recurrent yeast infections in women. If you have a low immune system, like in cases of HIV, because yeast lives naturally on the skin, in our bodies, and also in our vaginas, and
Yeah.
generally the good bacteria keep that in check. If your immune system's low, then the kind of the bad things can kind of grow unchecked out of control, including yeast. So it might be a signal that you might need to get tested as well for HIV. Um, PCOS is another one because that's often associated with high blood sugar. Really, any condition that's kind of associated with high blood sugar can cause that. So it's always good to also have your doctor look into any underlying causes related to immunodeficiency, a low immune system, weakened immune system, and also high blood sugar.